Hello, everyone. Happy non-farm payroll Friday. How is everyone doing today? So, good morning, John. Good morning, Patrick. Good morning, Heinrich. Good morning, Mark. Good morning, Charles. Good morning, Jacob. Good morning, Jake. Hey, Sterling. The videos are obviously being suppressed. I now have to type in the search bar to find the videos every morning. Yeah, they are being. Look, there's no advertising. There's no nothing on, and it's ridiculous at this point. We'll be probably rolling to a different platform after I move. I'm not going to try to redo stuff now. Not going to try to redo stuff now. Thank you for that feedback, Sterling. Good morning, Legion Reaver. Good morning, Eric. Yeah, we got the duck. It's What the Duck Friday. Happy Friday. Can we look at Pan W? Sure. Hey, options 22. Are you in France now? World Traveler options 22. So, again, big thing this morning. Yeah, duck down. Well, that was that the falling duck was for the revisions lower in January non-farm payrolls. Did anybody see the revisions? Oh my goodness! I mean, these revisions are getting absurd. I mean, just geez, I just lost the number, but they were revised down like I know private payrolls were revised down 177,000. We should make our own secret cabal and take over the world. I don't want to take over anything. That's too much responsibility. Good morning, MJ. Thank you for tuning in. All right, so we have contract roll. I will be with you from Malaysia next week. Tour in UK is over. All right. What do you do, Mark? What are you touring for? Give me some information. Yeah. NVDA just keeps. We're going for the 1,000. It's 950 about there. So this market just wants to keep chugging along. We'll go through some stuff and why I'm watching a couple key things this morning. But you had the unemployment rate ticking up slightly. I guess the market's celebrating that. But but non-farm payrolls forecast 195, consensus 200, coming out 275. But that'll be revised lower. And also if you look at government payrolls, 52K. I mean, this is all going to part-time jobs and government payrolls. That should just tell you something. Average weekly hours ticking up a bit, but average hourly earnings month over month down, versus still up but down versus forecast. What else do we have today? We just have the rig counts, really. By the way, next big thing for a possible turning point we got next Tuesday is the CPI numbers. Okay, so that's the next thing that could tip the market. You see NVIDIA up. Costco was a beat on EPS, but a miss on the more important revenue. Costco gapping down this morning. Avgo, also Broadcom, was a beat, but gapping down. That was a potential double top in that. Tesla, watch the potential potential double bottom. But NVIDIA just keeps chugging along. Just keeps running. Basic materials are leading, followed by technology. Basic materials up big. Gold breaking out on the unemployment numbers also. I mean, gold continuing. It was sort of stalled a little, and then it surged higher. Dollar continues its sell-off. We still have 4 rate cuts through the end of the year, so we still have the markets more dovish than the Fed. Fear and greed, still in extreme greed. All right. Good morning, Richard. Who gets to decide what fair is? See? A very good question. There's nothing for earnings today unless you were into America's Car Mart. So I'm taking those down. But we do have a contract roll. If I go to non-back adjusted, you see the gap up because of the contract roll. Starting today, there's a lot of people roll today or on Monday. Why am I still leaving it back adjusted? Let's just see. Because At this point, I'm leaving it back adjusted because we have potential double tops. If we take out the potential double tops, then I'm going to the non-back adjusted contract. All right. So that's where we sit right now. But we do, especially the NASDAQ, have a really nice double top. Now, if the S&P today trades, the futures trade above, and this would now be the June futures with the roll, trade above 52.44 on the June contract, the double's off the table. And it might be off the table right after the open. Based off the June contract also, the minor support's coming in at 52.25, major support 52.11 to about 5200. That's where we sit there. By the way, from the weekly standpoint, we are still in nosebleed territory, but nothing is stopping this market just yet whatsoever. The next key level, based off the June contract, we're really at about then 52.50 and then 52.77, 78 area. I don't know what would come out to really shake the market today other than some profit taking, but 51.96 is the next key harmonic, and then the major harmonic cluster is 51.81 to the downside. The NASDAQ, you also see, what was the high here? 18.627.75. All right, so nearly a perfect double top right here. Again, it's on back adjusted mode. If it breaks out 18.696.25, 18.764.25, above 18.764.25, it's off the table for the potential double. The support area I'm watching is around 18.560. If we break below that, then we're at 18.495, and then we're at about 18.423 on any backfill with some profit taking today. So that's, I'm still keeping an eye on that. Now the Dow in the non-bag, there's no pattern really here in the Dow right now. Really just keeping an eye on this. We'll leave it on back adjusted, oops, for a second. I hate when that changes. There we go. Back adjusted for a second. Again, for the June contract, about 39,465. There's still a little gap left about beyond the 39,457. So 39,457 to 39,465. The key support is coming in about 39,930, and then you have about 39,050. Russell, remember the roll date is next Wednesday. Pushing up again. This is really markets in complete party mode. If it continues, 2121 is the next target higher. The little mini double here that we talked about was never, of course, triggered or even confirmed. So 2121 is the next target there. The key support is now coming in at 2089. VIX dropping. Still support level 1375. Key resistance around that 1450. Nothing else to talk about there. Those are the two levels I'm watching. The notes. Going to be real. I got to take this out of back adjustment. The notes at this point, going to be seeing where it closes 111.27 today. That would take the double off the table, the remaining double off the table, and really turning this into a flagging channel pattern. The 10-year, the key level, we're still far away from this, is still 33.947, so just remember 3.95, but in the short term, because it's not technically a stop raise yet from my perspective, it's anywhere down here to roughly 4. I'm watching for any bounce pattern, especially early next week. Little volatility back and forth. The 10-2s still have the potential double in place. Dollar index getting smacked around. Still in the key reversal zone. The cycle's getting the bottom and very oversold. So going into next week, I'm going to see if there's a %B buy set up for a bounce. And then it's going to be to see, because it's a bounce into major resistance, how long that bounce lasts. But then the close below 101.83, start focusing on lower prices. Crude. This double is still technically in place. Remember, it's a lower probability because it's the same thing with the Russell one, which it's in a channel pattern. So that's still in place. This didn't get up quite high enough to invalidate it. Other than that, I'm more watching for this consolidation pattern. Remember, we got rig counts coming out today, but I'm just waiting for this crude thing to shake out and for some more decent setups to come. Natty gas just continuing its slight pullback. Watching now for the stronger bottom pattern, so would not be surprised after hitting the final double target to watch for a continued pullback in there in the short term. Gold, spiking up to that 21.93.4 harmonic, just coming up right there to that area and pulling back. Gold has been on a tear too, but I'm now going to be watching for consolidation or at least some kind of pullback going into next week. Remember, a consolidation, it could roughly move sideways. And a key support level is now back at that 21.50 area. Silver, completing. You had to sit through a lot. With this pattern. But completed. Boom. There we go. Completed. The next key level, really watch today. Let me see this 62.5, the purple 62.5. That is key on a closing. We could remember between the 50 and the 62.5 is the rollover zone. It spiked through to hit that final target, and it was a target area that I mentioned, 62.5 to that target zone, and it actually hit the full target. Coming down, but I'm going to be watching for a close above 24.70. If we don't get it, we could be easily pulling back at least to the daily rotation zone, 23.99, 24 area. What else do we have? Here going on? The yen continuing its pullback, coming into very key support and minor bounce here. There's a very key support area just below, but getting oversold. Boys, when things are moving, they're just moving like unidirectional at this point. They're just, when things get a move on, they're just moving. Euro spiking up, still in the potential resistance zone. It needs to close above 109.72. Spiking a little through there and then pulling back. With overbought and cycles at the top, so would not be surprised to see, unless this closes above 109.72 to shift it in the short term, would not be surprised to see a rollover, at least a pullback. And in the short term levels, your pullback key support is coming in about 108.80. Spiders still have the mini double in place here, unless it trades above 516.52, 515.89. So the first target would be 516.52. And then, let's see. That's really what I'm watching for today to the upside. Above there, I'll just go to 517 until we get some stronger harmonics. On a pullback level, you're looking at about 515.36, and then the gap fill to the close, 514.81. And then let me flip this around. And then we're looking about 513.15, which corresponds to yesterday's gap open. And then you're looking at about 511.17. But really pay attention to that 516.52 area. The Qs, 446.02. First, any pullback would be to yesterday's close, 445.45, and then about 444.95 to about 445, and then 443.35 are the key areas there. 448.12 and then 449.73 to the upside. The Bitcoin still having some trouble getting above 68.4 area. If it does get above 68.4, the minor levels now, the minor levels, and the one I'd really be watching would be about 71.850. So, yeah, we are seeing these are daily momentum bars. It's a little waning momentum, but they are daily momentum bars. It's the buy the dip, buy everything force in full. Tesla, by the way, if you're looking for any bounce in Tesla, this is a valid double bottom on a 4-hour close above 180.07, 183.25, 184.84, 186.48, which was almost to the gap fill too. And that's above that you have the gap fill, but that's just a minor bounce pattern. NVDA, again, 950. At this point, you can't even do proper harmonics because of this. But 950, and just watch that 1,000 mark after that. I think this thing wants to gun for it, really, or just shy. It could make it just shy of 1,000, but that's the next target area. What else do we have? We had Costco. The gap down. I mean, Costco's even getting to absurdity stuff. I have to see the new P/E ratio on this, but even with their miss on revenue, everything's getting overextended. It's party like it's 1999. Avgo, you have a little mini potential double. So really it would need a close below this 1332.37. What else did I miss? I know there was something in here from the beginning. What one did I miss? What did I miss? I know somebody put one in here. Oh boy, where is it? I can't see it now. Scrolling back through. Sorry, I'm just. If you have a request, please put it in again. I don't see that. So, was it Pan W? Was that the one I'm remembering? For Palo Alto, I need to see where this pulled back to in the short term. Did that get down 276.96, 276.81? So yeah, that's technical. I don't know if it works, but I could still see a retest at 200. I'm just seeing if this double worked. Yeah, it does. But that's a long way out from triggering, and you close below that 62.5. It did hit the 75, which qualifies it for a double, but 268.52. I'd really be watching to see then if it closes below that 200. Now, the bullish case, you could be setting up, depending on where today closes, for another potential percent B buy next week for a bounce play, unless it were to close above yesterday's high. The other bigger pattern is above 327.57. You have a gap fill, which is roughly right here at the second target. Look at the gap fill. So, but that's a long way off from triggering, but that's something I'll be watching. Now, if there was a front run pattern and you're bullish on this, okay, but the key area, this would be tighter. If I was doing any front run pattern on this, I would really, on a closing basis, below that 200 would not be good. It's already chipped away at it once, and you see not just the 200, but if you look here, look at this. You start breaking this very key support. This was major resistance, tested here, bouncing up, and you break below this area, would not want to be holding longs in the short term. Thank you, Charles. Thank you, MJ. Thank you for pointing that out. I'm glad I remembered the right one. KRE. So KRE, still you have the regionals, you still have the double in play. It would need to close above. It hit the first stop level reduction, so it'd have to close above 51.17 to invalidate the pattern. Other than that, nothing's changed. Nothing has changed. So that's the key level to watch for right there. All right, let's just peek back in to see. All right, this has not invalidated it yet. 52.44.50, high of 52.42.75. Let me put this in back adjust mode. There we go, to fix the little pattern. Going into the open, what do we have here? Again, there's been selling pressure above this 52.40 area. That's very key to watch for at the open. That 52.40 area, and it can't really focus on more of a breakdown unless we get some momentum below 52.13 and really 52.06. 52.13 to 52.06 actually could be a bounce buy zone unless we have some unless we have real breakdown levels. You are welcome, MJ. You have a wonderful weekend. Also, you joined Costco last weekend. Amazing food. So you went to the Costco food court. Well, I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. I was actually at Costco yesterday. And I shall talk to everyone next week. Bye for now.